Spirituality can be political sometimes. Welcome, I'm Christian Nielsen, and I'm glad you've joined me for another one of these Sunday reflections, or perhaps this is your first. This is a space that I am trying to create that is a personal space, but that is a gentle space, a healing space, a spiritual space. And I want to address something that's come up with some folks that have followed these reflections and some of my other social media as well. About a month ago, somebody complained that I was wearing a pride pin in the shape of Minnesota. I want to be very clear that I fully support the LGBTQ plus community. They are beautiful as they are, as God created them, and as they are becoming. And then some others, I believe it was in some of my commentary about the way certain people are being treated right now, particularly Somali Americans and other immigrants, said that I lost them at the politics, and that I shouldn't be so political. And also when talking about, our obligation to each other, to feed each other, to take care of each other, and to make sure that we have health care. And there are times that spirituality and politics cross. And spirituality often has the political component. Thinking about the Buddhist tradition and thinking about the Buddha lived in a place of privilege, lived in a palace. And one day decided he wanted to see what the outside world was like. He saw a dead body just in the street. He saw a sick person. He saw a homeless person. He saw a lot of injustice and came to the conclusion that life is suffering, and that all life is suffering. And the ultimate conclusion to suffering, the ultimate way to decrease our own suffering, the Buddha said, was to decrease the suffering of others. Maybe that's political, saying that we have a responsibility to decrease the suffering of others. Our indigenous siblings around the world, I don't like to generalize, but many believe that we are connected to everything and everyone. That means we're connected to this earth that we live on. And that means that what we do to the earth, we do to ourselves. Is that political? It could have political connotations. We are all relatives. We are all related in those traditions. And yes, that can be political, because that means what we do to somebody else, we ultimately do to the community, and we do to ourselves. We are connected. And then we think about Jesus' command, or Jesus' statement, that whatever you do to the least of these, you do to me. And that comes out of a long tradition from which Jesus is firmly rooted, of the prophets of the Hebrew Bible, repeatedly commanding us to love our neighbor, to welcome the stranger, to care for the people that have been forgotten in society, the people with no status. At that point, it was the widow and the orphan. These things are not without politics. And then we come to this. This third Sunday of Advent is when many Christians celebrate the Magnificat. And there have been beautiful musical settings of this over the centuries. It's so beautiful. And it's the hymn that Mary recites or sings to her cousin Elizabeth. Is it a pretty, happy, gentle song? It is not. She calls out a lot of the injustice in the world in a way that some might call her a radical leftist, or maybe even that word woke. Let's listen to what Mary said or sang to Elizabeth. My soul glorifies the Lord, and my spirit rejoices in God my Savior. For God has been mindful of the humble state of his servant. From now on, all generations will call me blessed. For the Mighty One has done great things for me. Holy is God's name. His mercy extends to those who fear him. And fear in this time more translates toward revere or respect. Mercy extends to those who fear him from generation to generation. He has performed mighty deeds with his arm. He has scattered those who are proud in their inmost thoughts. He has brought down rulers from their thrones, but has lifted up the humble. He has filled the hungry with good things, but has sent the rich empty away. Sounds kind of political to me. And I think in talking about that tense, Mary is saying by the coming of Jesus, God has done this. And by the way, I don't know, I often see the divine as female or without gender, but that is what is written here. So, how is that not political? How can we not take that as a calling to lift up the poor? And how is that any different when people are starving? When you're cutting off their health insurance and building a ballroom? I don't see the difference. I don't. As I speak, millions of people are going to lose their health care very shortly. It's going to become out of reach and too unaffordable. Many government employees are still reeling from the shutdown. People are becoming more and more poor in the way that our costs are going up. And that some of that is political, and I will leave some of that alone, but we have a moral obligation. We as a society. If my saying that what's happening to the Somali community is wrong, and you feel that's a political statement, I might invite you to think about your politics. I will say this very clearly. God does not make trash. Our Latino brothers and sisters, or Latinx brothers and sisters, our Somali siblings, our indigenous siblings, the poor among us, the LGBTQ community, are made in God's image. And if that is a political statement to some, I'm okay with that. I want this to be a safe, often comforting space, but that doesn't mean we're not going to talk about the hard things sometimes. I want this to be a healing space, but healing isn't just about covering over a wound. As the old prophet said, they cry, peace, peace, and ignore the wound of my people. Sometimes wounds have to be opened. Band-aids have to be taken off. Sometimes wounds even need to be opened in order to heal. That's in our individual lives, and that is as a society. I love you all, and yes, even those of you that don't agree. If this place isn't a space that for you, then I understand. But I also hope that it's a space where we can have conversation about these things. But I do draw the line at conversation that questions the humanity and the dignity of other people. So I hope you all will stick around. I am working on a very special Christmas Eve reflection. In fact, I was recording a lot of that yesterday at the Waconia Moravian Church, which is a beautiful space. I wanted to offer a special reflection for Christmas Eve. So I hope that you will join me then. I'm working hard on it. The production value is going to be a little bit higher. We're going to have music and some story, and I hope that you can join me at some point. It should air at around 8:30 on Christmas Eve morning, so that you can check it out anytime you want, and you can watch anytime after that too. So I hope you'll stick around for that, and we may have a slightly shorter reflection next week, next Sunday, just as I work toward preparing that Christmas Eve special time with you all. So I love you all. Walk in beauty. To our Jewish siblings, if you're watching this on Sunday, I wish you a very blessed and happy Hanukkah. And may we all bring our lights into the world, no matter how dark it seems, and light the world up. And sometimes it involves politics. Peace be with you.